What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today I want to talk about the massive trade that just happened yesterday surrounding the number one overall pick of the Chicago Bears, and also talk about the newest wide receiver addition to this Bears roster in today's Film Room episode in DJ Moore. And like I said, today's video will mostly be about DJ Moore, but I also want to give you my reaction and thoughts about the trade that just happened yesterday and what the Bears got in return. I think overall this is probably a franchise-changing day even, with getting one of the better young wide receivers in the league and a massive overall. But for today's video, overall structure-wise, we want to talk about the trade first of all real quick, and then I got some categories that I got DJ Moore into: his hands, his route running, his yak ability, so you can understand his skill set a bit better and how he fits into the Chicago Bears offense. So with that being said, I want to start off actually talking about the trade with the first category, which is the trade details. And I mean, the trade details are pretty simple. The Carolina Panthers will get the number one overall pick from the Chicago Bears, which is obviously great for them. Now they can pick their quarterback of the future, but they obviously had to give up a lot, and that's definitely a massive haul right there for the Bears. And Ryan Poles, just an absolute win right there for him as well. The Bears get in this trade round 1 pick number 9, round 2 pick number 61 in this year's NFL draft. And then in 2024, we got a first-round pick, the first-round pick obviously from the Panthers, and their 2025 second-round pick, plus wide receiver DJ Moore. So incredible value right there with that deal. I think that's a phenomenal trade overall. If I have to grade this, I think that's definitely an A+ for the Chicago Bears side. Ryan Poles did what he promised, which is getting a massive haul for that number one overall pick. He got 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, and a Pro Bowl wide receiver or caliber wide receiver in DJ Moore, who's definitely so damn underrated. I think this is, like I said, a very much franchise-altering trade because we now got way more draft capital for the future. We got already massive cap space still with taking on DJ Moore's contract. So I think overall the Bears are set up for one of the biggest franchise-changing off seasons overall ever in franchise history, and I can't wait and see what this offseason brings. It's already so much fun, and I can't wait and talk about DJ Moore, actually, what he can bring to the Bears. But like I said, overall, I'm still in shock that this trade actually happened. It happened pre-free agency, which is good as well, because now you know how to attack certain positions. Now you know what you have in your wide receiver 1 because you actually got DJ Moore, so you don't have to worry about it that much in free agency and in the draft. You still want to address it, but you got lesser thoughts about that position now because you got just a big dog at that position. And talking about that big dog, I want to start off with today's Film Room episode and start off with the first category today, which is the hands and catching category. And today's Film Room episode will be a bit different than the previous ones. If you knew my Film Room episodes already, it will be a bit different because the program I've worked with before, I don't have it anymore. So today will be more like talking about his skill set and running some clips in the background, but I will also certainly talk about some clips hopefully today as well. But with the hands category, what can I say about DJ Moore? Watching his tape, which is probably the most important thing, letting you know what my thoughts are, and you can watch the clips in the background as well. I think overall, I love his release package off the line. I think he does a great job. He did it against elite corners as well. Like, for example, Patrick Surtain of the Denver Broncos, one of the best cornerbacks in the league. His release package is really good, and what I love about him with his releases is just the ability to shift in gears already. His get off the line can be super fast, or if he decides to go of more of a crossover or a stutter step or whatever to start off his route, he can do that as well. So he has so much variation in his routes, and his get off of his stance, it's absolutely phenomenal. Also, separation at the top of the route is really good. Loved it, especially against one rep against Patrick Surtain, where he just kept his body engaged with Patrick Surtain, who had great coverage on him. And then as soon as the ball was coming towards him, he kind of shoved him away a bit with the arm, leaned in with his body, and gained separation at the top of that go route and was able to haul that ball in with great concentration. Just things like that that really just amaze you about his game, because he is a young player, right? He's only 25 years old, will turn 26 in April, and already was such a productive player in his young NFL career. And it's just phenomenal seeing how much he's already developed, and he still has room to develop, which is obviously the beautiful thing. Also love how he's always able to get into the second gear, which he seems like does on every single play. Like he has that first gear attacking the DB, maybe with his release, running the route on his feet, which is amazing as well. And then as soon as he gets into his break or gets into the go route completely, he just shifts into that second gear and just burns away from that DB. Absolutely phenomenal. His concentration on his catches is absolutely beautiful as well. Made some really circus catches on there with great body control, where he had to turn his body because his quarterback play was never a real consistent thing in his NFL career so far. Maybe 2018, where he was drafted in the first round. Cam Newton had a solid season, but then he got injured and his career went on a huge downfall. And then for the Panthers, it was just a huge up and down at the quarterback position. Last year, we'll see it in the clips as well. It's a lot of Sam Darnold, PJ Walkers, Baker Mayfield even, right? So it's not obviously helpful for the wide receiver in that situation. And he always did great with no matter who was at quarterback. So that's absolutely perfect for him. Also, his ability to adjust to certain situations on the fly is absolutely phenomenal as well. Love it how he adjusted to broken plays. And they tried to rub route right there, I think against the Steelers it was, right? They tried to rub route, it didn't work out, and then he just kept fighting, kept going with the scramble drill, right? Adjusted to the quarterback where he was rolling out, and then made a phenomenal catch at the sideline, just hauling that ball in, keeping his feet in bounds, and just tiptoeing towards the sideline, right? That's something he does really well, keeping his feet in bounds and just making great catches on the football. Also, there was a 10-and-out route that was pretty well covered, I think, against the Lions, where he just was able to extend his body, keep his feet in bounds, extend his arms, and just make a beautiful catch over the DB. It's things like that that are absolutely beautiful. Another wheel route against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which looked phenomenal. Like absolutely phenomenal, where he just had a real nice one-cut release, right? Attacked the DB and then got into his second gear and then flashed the hands late. It's things like that, right? If you're on a wheel route and the cornerback is attached to you, or the safety or whoever is attached to him who is covering him, you want to flash the hands late so he can't react to it and can't get his hands into your body or in between your hands to break up that pass, right? And there he just flashed the hands in the last split second, which was obviously pretty impressive as well. So I think DJ Moore, hands and catching wise, is one of the better receivers in the league after watching his tape. Honestly, he's really clean with it. Now, at times he could catch it a bit more with his arms extended. He tends to body catch, but I haven't seen it being a big problem in those situations, because he pretty much caught everything thrown his way in those situations, and it looked really good. And I think he's just an absolute phenomenal player that could right away make the Chicago Bears one of the more dangerous wide receiver cores in the entire NFL. Obviously, we got Mooney and Claypool as well. And I think with DJ Moore, we got one heck of addition to this wide receiver core. And I just absolutely love what he does on the football field. And with that being said, I want to close out the hands category and move on to the second category that I want to talk about today, which is his route running. And talking about DJ Moore and his route running, I think he's a pretty damn underrated route runner in the league. Is he the best one? I think he's not. He could still improve in some certain areas, but I think he uses his body and his physical capabilities so well to get open. It's absolutely phenomenal. Love what he's doing on the field. When he's in his routes, I think there's several perfect examples for his route running. For example, one against the Falcons where he had a deep out right against a coverage or or a zone corner, excuse me, who was playing the sideline, right? So he really had to sell that go, made the cornerback react to it a little bit, and then broke out, right? With a perfect selection right there of a cut, just a one cut, got out there towards the sideline, made the DB flip his hips, was not in a great position anyway to start off the play, and then made one heck of a play at the sideline. Also, I think most of the routes, he really sells it well, right? If you want to run a curl against man, you really have to sell the go route in order to successfully stop on a dime and come back towards the football for about 2 yards, right? So I think overall he positions his body well and sells those routes in a good way to actually make the cornerback flip his hips and bite on those plays. Also, I think his hip sync at the top of the route is absolutely phenomenal and amazing, like really good. He only needs about 1 to 2 or at max 3 steps to throttle down from a curl route when he is in full speed, which is super impressive, and then just gets really low with his hips and makes some sharp cuts. Really love that on tape. Did that a couple of times on some deep curls and really cooked some cornerbacks with that for some easy throws and first downs for his quarterbacks. Also, his body positioning, I think, is absolutely elite. Like, he always puts his body in the superior position to make the catch, to get open on a route. Also, love himself using his speed to his advantage all the time. There was a circus route, I think, against the Giants, where he kind of had that right circus route. You want that 45-degree stem, then turn it upfield and then run that corner route towards the backside or the back pylon, in that case specifically in the red zone. And I think he did a phenomenal job right there because he kind of ran into his route slowly and then got into the second gear and just bursted away from the cornerback, make him, I think, even fall down or just stutter for a quick second and get wide open into the end zone. And just things like that, right? Using his speed to his advantage, positioning his body well, selling routes well, and just knowing what he has to do on the field to get open, which is absolutely phenomenal. And then talking about his awareness on the field against especially zone coverage, I think he did a phenomenal job as well. Several curl routes where he just perfectly set in between the zone, between linebacker and corner, or especially a beautiful route, a 10 and in against the 49ers, or a 15 and in, right? It was just a deep in, a dig, whatever it was, but he just perfectly throttled down in between the zone instead of keep running. Perfect understanding with the quarterback. They both knew the assignment. And just sits in the zone for an easy completion for a first down. And I think overall, his route running and awareness on the field is absolutely outstanding, and I can't wait and see how he uses those physical and mental aspects in the Chicago Bears uniform running routes for Justin Fields. But I can guarantee you guys, this guy will be a lot of fun, and he can definitely get open in any second if he wants to. So keep in mind, this guy is a young baller that still has some upside and is already an absolute beast. And with that being said, I want to move on to the last category that I want to talk about today, which is the yak, his yards after the catch ability. And I think I want to start off this category with actually talking about his versatility first of all, because the Carolina Panthers did use him in several ways. Not a lot in the running game, but they did use him in that. He can line up at outside, he can line up in the slot, and he also did get some reverses and runs in the Carolina Panthers system. It was not overly successful, but I think the guy really has some burst, and as soon as the ball is in his hands, it's always a chance for a big play. Now, is he the best player that can get yards after the catch? Definitely not, but he's definitely a guy that you have to account for as a defense. He was used on several quick just little screens, right, tagged onto the run plays, and if the quarterback likes the matchup or the leverage to the linebacker or safety or corner, whatever, they just take it. He had some really nice bubble routes where he just, or bubble screens where he got the ball quickly, stayed behind his blockers, was patient, and then made some extra yards. Also had a beautiful, I think, now screen against, was it the Bucks? I'm not completely sure right now, but he had a beautiful now screen where he just stiff-armed one defender right away and made some yards after the catch happened as well. And I think his overall ability to make some yards after catch, or just his running ability, is pretty underrated. Like I said, not the best in the league, but he can definitely be used in that way. And I think he's just a guy that you want to give the ball to in any given situation. anything can happen as soon as he has the ball in his hands. He can make some extra yards. He can stiff arm a guy right, make some people miss, and then he's always good for a big play down the field as well. And with that, that finishes off the film room. And just for a quick little conclusion overall, I think DJ Moore included in obviously this huge trade for the #1 overall pick with the Carolina Panthers is an absolute massive get for the Chicago Bears. The guy is still super young. The guy can still learn and develop, but mostly he's just a phenomenal athlete and phenomenal player overall that already had 3 1,000-yard seasons, and he just perfectly fits into the Chicago Bears offensive system. I think he can fit in any system, honestly, because he can just do so many things well. He's a pretty good route runner. His body control is outstanding. His hands and feet are perfect, just incredible footwork on all plays, and then after the catch, he can be pretty dangerous as well. I think that's just an every down weapon for Justin Fields, and he must be the happiest guy in the world right now because he got a wide receiver 1. We got Darnell Mooney again as well. We got Chase Claypool. We got Velus Jones Jr., who is talented. Don't get me wrong. He had some bad plays last year, but he is talented. You got a young running back core that you want to address maybe a bit more in free agency or in the draft, no matter what, but they're good options. Maybe you want to bring in a couple of more explosive playmakers again as well, and then you obviously want to invest heavily in free agency and in a draft for the trenches. But I think the Chicago Bears set themselves up for an amazing situation at the moment for the future and for their quarterback. And starting it off with DJ Moore this offseason, that was something I did not imagine, and I did not think this was going to happen, but I'm definitely one of the most happy Bears fans out there because this is a phenomenal hire. This is a phenomenal job right there by Ryan Poles to getting a weapon to Chicago that can ball out on every given down. And I can't wait and see how the guy looks in Chicago, but I can promise you that he will be an absolute beast. And I'm just in love with the Bears situation at the moment. And with that being said, that's the end of the episode, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Definitely stay tuned for the next couple of weeks or days even for more videos, especially a mock draft 2.0. Already wanted to upload that, but after the shakeup now, I got to redo it, so stay tuned for another mock draft, learning and talking about a couple of more draft prospects. Let me know in the comments down below as well what you think of DJ Moore and the trade of the Chicago Bears, obviously, as well. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Check out Instagram and Twitter if you want to as well. And as always, guys, bear down.